and which is why there is always a demand for more and more work to be done by an HR recruitment professional, talent acquisition professional, and I think one of the biggest things that we do is we retain our clients and try to get more work from them. At one point of time, it happens so in most of the cases, not all, most of the cases, they stop talking to other recruiters. So, and they are still paying me a non-exclusive fee. So that becomes a kind of a game changer and it mitigates my risk. So it is a slow model at this point of time that I'm doing, but I am intending to, as I had also mentioned to you, I'm intending to bootstrap it on my own and then maybe look at investments coming in a little later. I'm okay to slog it out in the beginning, but that is just my take at this point of time. Unless and until I'm sure, unless and until I have a very deep understanding about what I am doing, it is something that I would not want to even put myself out there with, because I would want to definitely succeed given the kind of time that I will be putting into even my first project.
I think one thing I could add to your business model is you could after sales service to your customers, because what usually happens is once the HR consultant has recruited someone, they got their fees, they're out of it. But if you keep following up with them, keep checking on them, how happy are they, do they need something else, everything is going fine. So that constant touch with your client gives them that extra feel that somebody's hand-holding them. I think that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, so we do that because that is the only retention model that we have, and acquisition in this space is not related to the kind of acquisition cost at all. It is, as I said, it is only based on referral at this point of time. So till we make a name for ourselves, it is very important for us to hold all the clients that we have. So we do that. In fact, we even do that with candidates. So I'll just give you an example. We close a position for an EA and she has a lot of experience and she's getting into a tech company. So the next stage for her would be to get PMP certified. And I'm actually going to be meeting her next week to have a cup of coffee and explore how she can do that, so that she can 2x her net worth and her value in the chain. So that's something that we have as a very hand-holding kind of a consultative approach towards both the stakeholders.
Thank you.
Okay. So this great presentation. So your experience in marketing and sales was visible in what you presented. Right? Two things. Again, one is kind of what are your long-term objectives, or what do you want to achieve being in this industry, right? So that was not probably.
I missed out on that.
And second thing, when you say referrals are working a very big way in your growth, but that is also kind of risky, right? How many referrals you have? You have tried a couple of more things and you admitted that it did not work well, but still you have to explore and try new things, right? Unless and until there is another way apart from referral, your growth will be kind of restricted. So, what are you doing on that front? It's also probably needs to be worked out.
So at this point of time, so my bandwidth is completely exhausted as far as my team is concerned. So
How big is your team, by the way?
we are 4 people.
Right. And who is doing what?
Yeah.
Full
Full
time.
time. But not all of them are on payroll. Some of them are also on a profit share.
Okay.
So who does what?
Yes, sir.
Who does what?
In the team,
Right.
the 3 other people who are there, they are all recruiters. They focus on recruitment. I look at the business aspect of it, and I also monitor their progress on a daily basis. So I basically am a
They are
supervisor.
freelancers.
No, not all 3. 2 of them on payroll. One is a freelancer, but it's kind of they are on contract. So they receive a chunky share of billings. So I'm keeping my P&L light like that.
How did you come to a conclusion that you want to focus on healthcare and pharma more, whereas your experiences in the industry are from other sectors?
Yes,
Is
sir.
there any particular reason? Is there a connect? Do you see easy entrance there, or?
So going ahead, I feel that it'll have to stop being about me. and it'll have to start being about the organization. So right now it's all about me and what I'm doing personally. But eventually when we are looking at that kind of growth, then it will have to be something which is relevant to the industry and to where the demand really is, and then to build a niche and expertise there. So it might not, like, I'll have to see how I could do that. Maybe I would have to get someone senior on board who knows this industry and has worked there, or I would have to get a co-founder to be able to get this. So I will have to assess that and then make that move.
So my point is exactly that you need that expertise when you want to serve a particular
Yes,
sector. You
yes.
need that experience and probably that credentials that you could do justice to your client.
Yes, absolutely. So one more thing, sir, just before you ask me, I have missed out on the whole ikigai aspect. One of the reasons why I pivoted in life from business development to human resources, because it is very fulfilling for me to see human potential get unlocked. And when that happens in front of me, it is very, very fulfilling. So that is something that I would want to always be closely associated with. And it is a great fulfillment even for someone to get a placement or a job in their journey. And as long as it's a correct hire in the right way, not just motivated by money, that is what we look at, and that is why I moved here into this field.
So, first of all, I enjoyed your life journey, the nice video, nice presentation. Couple of things. When you talk about HR recruitment, so you already have clients in the pharma industry?
Yeah.
Right? So then, that is a good point. I believe that you already are an expert in the pharma industry.
Okay.
Maybe that is one way to start off with. Now start learning more about the industry. Right? I'll give you my example. I had nothing to do with hospitality, right? But today, I know everything about the industry, and people in that industry know about us. Right? But that has only happened because we took that effort then to understand more about that industry, to meet with the industry people. See, what is not working for you is maybe like you're not networking. Right? There are tons of networking events which take place.
Yes.
Try to be part of those networking events, wherein at least you can go and meet people relevant to the industry. There are multiple industry connects which take place. So, if online is not working or paid marketing is not working, that is not working maybe because there is a huge competition, right? There are tons of HR recruitment companies which are already promoting, which have a set of clients. But when you go and establish a one-to-one connect, right, referrals are working for you.
Yes.
They will work for you, of course, because there is someone who's referred you, right? If I had a good experience with you, I'll refer like, okay, you know what, please refer his business.
Right.
So, but then you have to establish your network. Next, what you could actually do is just create some content or give out some presentations, maybe on your LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
You're giving some strategies, or you're giving some talk on your HR experience or what a candidate should expect,
Right.
on LinkedIn, which over a period of time makes you some sort of a go-to person, or maybe your lectures get popular or something, and people will start following you or recognizing you. That happens with the candidate or with the recruiter.
Right.
Both ways, like you are able to create a name for yourself over the period of time.
So I'm doing that, but I'm not doing that enough. I'm bringing people in the community together, doing webinars, and I also aspire to make it into like a podcast by putting out the audio and creating some kind of noise out there. But to be honest, it's really hectic, so I've not been able to do that.
Rather than a podcast, make it a video because people need to see.
Yeah, video is there. It's a webinar, and then I thought, why lose out the opportunity to also make it a podcast, or also make it like a blog on Medium. So yeah, I need to do that a little more and more often. So,
And one more thing, when it comes to HR recruitment, I think I don't know if you are doing it or not. There's a lot of things on background check.
yes.
If you are doing that, if you are not doing that, then that is possibly that you should do that.
Yeah.
Now, different kinds of background check, degree checks, police verification, address verification, so on and so forth. There are different agencies which you could tie up with for that. So you could explore that because you are not going to go to a if it's outside your region,
Yeah.
like you are not going to go to Assam to verify the police record of a person. person, right? But there are recruitment there are specialized companies which do that for you.
Yeah.
So maybe you could tie up with them because now in today's data and age, it is very important to have these kind of background verifications service which your client may or may not need. So that is something which you could include in your model that will help you pitch it across even better to your clients.
Thank you for the feedback, sir. It's there, I mean, access is there. And I know people who do this but never started that, so I'll get that initiated.
All the best.
Or it's just one more thing.
Yes.
So you probably know this better than I do. But now the industry KRAs are moving from being qualitative to quantitative also, right? So if you can, like you highlighted the testimonies that has been given by your clients, if you can also include some of the numbers, how quickly you are able to hire for your clients, how many people you are able to hire. So if how many probably candidates are there in your database, how many customers are from different industries that you are probably working with. So if you can probably quickly summarize these impact numbers and project them, that should help your business probably.
I'll do that. I have that, I just didn't include it here. But I'll put
When you
those.
talk to your clients, you can also include the number of clients you are working with.
Yeah.
However big or small, at least they know that okay, they are working with someone who's capture customer testimonials, video testimonials.
There's a lot of points actually I should note.
But you're not noting it down.
I should have noted it down.
Yeah, you're just listening. You can just elaborate. No, I think one point which you said, like, I don't want to, things should not happen because of me. I think even got a feedback from Nishit, right? That people are doing it for your sake. And yeah, what did he see? He actually said, why not? You should. So somewhere people are dealing with your company, it's because of you, and that's reality. So I mean, to reach a stage where you're saying no, they should be associated with the company and not me, you have time for that. So if you have built up a credibility, if you build up an image, capitalize it for the right reason, because that is the only way you move ahead. Like the networking events, etc., is going to work out only because they're seeing you. You're spending some time with that PA next week is only because she sees value in you. So for some time you have to, but then I know there's a bandwidth issue, like where all you can be. So I think somewhere you need to sit down because now you're at a stage where you have so many things. You need to literally prioritize what is critical, and important and urgent, and kind of have either like what Nishit was saying, collaborators where you think it is a low cost kind of a thing where you can manage, where you have to be, your positions in these points for strategies are very critical. So that's one thing. Second thing is in that problem matrix, you talked of startup, you talked of SME and corporate. I believe in your GTM you should know where you want to start off with, because each of them are different zones in itself. The way you look at it, the problems, how you want to approach. So if I can think of startup, I think you should talk to him, because I'm sure it's not just him, but any technology business incubator which is doing well, they have very good startups, okay? Passionate innovators like how you're passionate about your subject. They would love to have somebody like you, help them recruit. Money will not be there immediately because they themselves are bootstrapped. But these are all companies who are getting grants, they're getting funded for their projects. So if you're typically a tech startup, they get funded for people, resource, right? So if you're able to help them get those resources, it's a lowest hanging fruit. So please focus. I'm giving you an business opportunity here. So when you're looking at startups, you should know where to get them. Right? SME is a huge thing. Of course, there you have watered down to something. I'm familiar with startups, so I just would relate it.
No, you're very right. I mean, everyone mentioning one email to SPIB, SPC, saying that these are the startups looking for.
Can you next week take time with him?
Yes, absolutely.
And understand, let him put you on to some startups. They have their offices here. Okay, visit them, exchange cards. They just, you don't have to sell. You just need to familiarize, tell them, at least they are comfortable. And if it's going to be referred through Hardik, as in through SPJIMR, I'm sure they'll listen to you, right? So these are the lowest hanging fruit for you to get business.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that. I definitely take up a
These are
business
HR
law.
services, isn't it, Avinash?
Sorry?
HR services,
Yeah.
isn't it? You can put into the FIC.
Yeah, that is the SME space. That is the SME space.
Till date, why did you explore it?
Which one, sir?
The internal community which is already there within SPJ.
Yeah.
Why
So
did you
actually,
explore
she is
it?
not here, but I really have to thank Dipti. I think she'll be on call.
Yeah.
She connected me to her husband, and we closed out a few positions for him.
So these
So
things are
the
not
networking is happening.
I'm there.
Thank you, Dipti. Thank you so much.
So I wanted to ask a question. So I had already put it up. So I'm struggling to how to build a team, but I have maybe I don't know.
I'm there, Avinash.
Hi, Dipti.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you for referring me.
You're most welcome to and I'm happy that I could connect you and both the sides got to get benefit from each other.
Yeah, ma'am had already put it out. So I can be your first potential client. So the only thing is, I don't want to spend so much money as of now on the human resources. The lowest cost how I can get my team. As of now, it's just low first and I'm trying to do it. So if you can come up with strategies for startups like mine to help us build a team at the lowest cost, or some strategies. And even you just don't need to give the hiring to people.
We can do that. We can manage that.
Because last time I approached you, you had suggested the websites. You can go and get the interns from there.
Yeah, because those are interns. So
Yeah,
So she used the word strategy. Okay, so first is you are able to influence their thinking.
Yeah.
Please understand. HR services comes after there's a strategy which has happened
Yes.
largely. So likewise in the startup founders which I was talking about Haptics, DPI also will have similar such cases.
Yeah. we talk. We have to stitch that ahead with a plan. So we talk.
Thank you. I think thanks.
Yes. And so I'll connect with you because the next step, when you mentioned that you take businesses who are in the traditional mode to technology, I would it would be very interesting to have a conversation. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.